Hi, and for those of you who remember me, welcome back. A lot's changed for me. First of all, got a new place. Second of all, hair dyed and stuff. I won't get into too much of that in this particular video. I apologize for delaying. There's like 2 lates that are like, it's a long story. But yeah, today's video is just some energy plucking. I have a new microphone that I've never had before because I sold my old Blue Yeti. But my voice isn't as important right now as just taking away distress that you don't really need in your life. It doesn't take much of an expert to tell you that there's a lot going on at the moment. And, well, sometimes you do feel the need to at least stay somewhat active and aware and whatnot. It can become very stagnated and very entrapping in a very toxic manner if you don't take some time, which is all we're doing today, staying 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, who knows, to just take away and throw away some of that stress. It's just that simple. You just don't need this anymore. And, sometimes it'll come back, but for these 5, 10, 20 minutes, I don't know how long this video will be. Let's say we'll go over 20. You just need to try and lower your stress and breathe as you would normally breathe, and focus on the guided meditation aspect of me pulling negative energy. I want you to try and visualize as say this is you, this right hand. As I'm doing this, try to imagine, say, a red or whatever color really works for you, line of energy being plucked and pulled out of you. That would be negative energy. And we're not necessarily replacing that with anything today because, that gets kind of more complicated. But today we're just taking away stagnated energy to allow you to recuperate and, relax a bit. So we're just pulling it out, and then when we have it here, we're just sort of smudging up and throwing it into the wind. And I want you to sort of imagine that happening, just sort of flowing off into the wind, into the world, to do whatever negative, stagnated energy does. Someone else's problem now. Try not to worry about that too much. Some might worry that it will become someone else's problem, but I'm sure they can find a great YouTuber just like myself to help them take just 5 or 10 minutes, however long you feel comfortable, to just take a moment to relax. Some of you will undoubtedly be falling asleep sometime soon, and for those of you, the video will start to get less bright, well, for all of you, as it goes on, so that's easier to fall asleep, because the video brightness is kind of high, because I'm recording on a mobile phone, and I don't know how the settings work. But to start to feel that small sort of expanding gap where you used to have all of this big bundle of just negative energy. Now there's just this little hole starting to form a little bit, you know? And that's all we're doing, is taking little bits at a time and leaving room for whatever you may want to put in there. Now, if you're watching this to try and sleep, or perhaps you need to sleep, it might be worth your time putting rest into that space. If you're just watching this for entertainment, this sounds fine. I personally watch most YouTube videos just to relax, or background music. Noise, not music. Okay, so now let's try doing this with 2 hands, but for now just really, really slowly, but we're going to start getting bigger chunks out of it now. Now that we've got our little hole, we're going to try and take more at a time, okay? So just bear with me as we come in and we just open it up and take big chunks. There you go. Is that starting to feel better now? You may find that if you're used to meditation about now, or if you just want to try and you're following along with that, start to imagine a flow of white or blue or whatever color really works for you. Energy just starting to fill up the space where that negative red or dark or whatever comes to your mind energy was, as I'm just pulling away more and more of that negative stuff that you no longer need or require. It's just not useful, really, at this point in your life. At this point in your life, you're just calming down. There's nowhere do you need to be. There's nothing that you need to do. There may be a million things that you do actually need to go and do and whatnot, but let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you need to relax. So just, you can do that stuff another day, you know? everything tends to feel like it needs to be done right this minute sometimes, but it generally doesn't. Like, I have a ton of paperwork that I've been putting off for about 2 weeks now. Because I moved house. And I now need to ask for an extension on some of that paperwork. And instead I was getting this kind of stuff set up, but you know. Sometimes when you're going through a stressful thing like moving house, and you have more stuff than you imagined to unpack, you just have to take some time, watch some ASMR, and relax. And, you know, later today I'll be posting all the letters I need to be posting, and it'll all be done. So simple. But in order to get to that stage, emotionally and such, I had to take my time. Because moving is incredibly stressful sometimes. Especially when it's your first ever time having a garden. Because I now have a garden and I don't know what to do with it, and I assumed I could cut my grass maybe a month after I moved in. Turns out it was about a week later when I realised I had to buy a lawnmower, like, right then. Because grass actually grows really fast. And sometimes, much like with this energy, you don't really quite notice it growing that fast. And before you know this stagnated energy, it's all around you, it's overgrown, you know? Oops, hit the microphone. But that's why it's important to take time for things like this and to just relax yourself. So now we're going to go a little bit faster. So just be aware that my hands are going to be coming toward the screen a little faster than you might be used to. Just, you know, relax, silly, you're safe. Now, if you were doing meditation stuff around about now, you're probably feeling a whole lot better. If you weren't, hopefully you are anyways. Do feel free to let me know, or, you know, you don't have to. But I do hope, whether you are into meditation or not, whether you're using this video just to chill out, just as background noise, or if you're going through some very bad stuff right now, just whatever your case may be, that, you know, this helps in some way. You know, maybe you have also moved house and are putting off paperwork. That's not normally the biggest issue in my life, but recently it has been. Simply because, you know, there are so many things when you move house that you have to start doing kind of all at once, and you can't quite find half of your stuff. Your stuff starts piling up in corners, and you're not really sure which corner has which pile. And yeah, it's a lot like that with stress sometimes, when you can get quite easily overwhelmed. Speaking of overwhelmed, I am going to start going slower again. Not totally slow, just more normal paced. As we start to wind toward the end. But if you ever find that this helps and your stress is starting to pile up in all your corners and you've forgotten which corner has which stress that was caused by what, do feel free to come back anytime. Or you could also, if you're into hand movement stuff, check out a really awesome video by another Scottish person called ASMR Muzz, who does a lot of good content. Now, I mention him because he actually just put out a hand movement video thing, like a energy plucking thing, even. And I had been sat at my PC desk trying to not stress over, but kind of stressing over what new video I was going to create. And yeah, it sort of just popped up on my YouTube. And I thought, well, that's an easy video to make. And I kind of know a meditation thing that I could do alongside that. I might do a more in-depth meditation thing like that at some point. I think that would help a bunch of people. But for now, first video in forever, so just wanted to keep it nice and simple. But yeah, not to plug the guy too much, but he does a lot of cool stuff. Okay, so right now you had like this much stress, and now you have about maybe this much-ish, depending if I've done my job right. And you know, if you're doing the meditation by now, you should probably, depending on yourself, have gotten to a point where you're feeling more and more of that sort of positive energy than negative. And remember, the key thing with meditation, and probably the reason I don't love guided meditation so much, that are generally very strict, is do whatever works for you. Like I said earlier, that I'm mentioning the red line. I mean, if you're seeing an orange line or a pink line or a blue line, just whatever works, Everyone's different, and that's okay. Hopefully I will be soon enough returning to more regular videos. Having this new flat certainly makes it very, very easy, because I can just set up my entire filming thing in one place and leave it there. That's actually why I quit last time, was I had to keep unfolding a whole host of studio equipment just to get decent lighting and whatnot. I mean, it was so dark in there, it wasn't even like bad lighting like this, it was just dark. To the point that the videos were really bad quality, so I had to use studio lights. But in here I got a lot of natural light, like this is pitch black nighttime. In a room that has not great lighting. The other room has better lighting, but due to some technical errors, I'm not filming in there right now. The microphone I got doesn't go on the tripod that I have. Which is kind of awkward, but right now it's sitting on a paint can and the coffee table. Which I'm sure any ASMR artist watching this will be all too familiar with. But yeah, once I get like a boon swing arm for it, I'll very easily be able to just set all this stuff up in one place and just leave it there. Which would be awesome for me, because it means I can just film any time of the day now, rather than having to wait until I have the physical and mental energy to mess around with. I think it was like 3 tripods, setting up 3 lights that all had to be screwed in, plugged in, and then a backdrop. Because there was a giant grey wall on the wall that I could film on at my old place. So, you know, it just became too much, because I then had to set up the camera on a tripod and the microphone on a tripod. And then when I was done filming, all that had to come down so I would have space to move around to get to my bed. Whereas here it's just nice big spaces, much like the big space where your negativity used to be. Well, your negative energy even. Well, I think that's been about 20 minutes, give or take. I do hope that you've had a very enjoyable time, and I hope this has helped in some way. And if you're asleep, then good night. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day, evening, or whatever.